Today in this video, guys, I want to talk to you about 5 things that nobody talks about when it comes to visiting Cuba. And that's why I already made this video for you. So the first point that I want to talk to you guys about is that Cuba is a very complicated country to visit. It doesn't really matter where are you visiting Cuba from. What I mean by complicated is that if you want to rent a car, it's going to be complicated. If you want to find a good Airbnb compared, prices, quality, is going to be a little bit complicated. Because Cuba's like always in crisis and things get a bit more harder to find sometimes. So pay attention to that, and that's one of the reasons why I always say that if you travel to Cuba, guys, you have to plan everything in advance, every single detail. I mean, if you don't know anything about Cuba, subscribe to the channel, because this channel so far is to help you guys to understand how Cuba works before I can start traveling to other places. My name is Alexr, by the way, and let's dive into the point number 2. For many people, Cuba is going to be super expensive. It really depends about your budget. Truth is that it might sound like a bit overpriced. And the reason is because of the crisis that we're having. And in Cuba, you're gonna find out that transportation is going to be expensive. The food sometimes is going to be expensive. The reason why the transportation is going to be very expensive is because we're having a crisis right now in Cuba with the gas. You're gonna find tons of queues or lines of cars waiting to put gas in the car. And that's very frustrating. And if you want to rent a car, number 1, complicated. Number 2, it's going to be not expensive, but it's going to be hard to find. And that's one of the reasons why I always recommend people that forget about renting a car nowadays. Although you want to get a bit more private, or you want to feel free to go whatever you want, but you can find a private car with a taxi driver, and the taxi driver is going to be with you 24/7, which is going to save you a lot of time. You don't want to go to the queues. You don't want to be spending hours. And what I mean by hours is sometimes you got to be in the queues 8 to 10 hours to put some gas, which is crazy. So you have to spend a day to do that. It really depends about how many days you're going to be here, blah 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 blah. Okay, so just think about that. And let's talk about the point number 3. Cuba is a beautiful country, but it's not 100% what you see in the Cuba guides that you will buy online, or that you will get if you go to, I don't know, any stores or any travel info shop. I don't know how to call it, but Cuba is beautiful. But it has so many things to know that you will probably not see on these Cuba guides. Actually, I'm trying to make a new Cuba guide, which is going to be completely for free once we set up our alexr.emprende website. So you can go there, you can get the free guide, which is going to be 100% truth, about 100% the things that you should know about Cuba before coming here, and it's going to save you a lot of time. You're going to know how to avoid being scammed and this stuff. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned to that, because it's going to help you a lot. And I think that if you're watching this video, it's because you probably want to visit Cuba, which I'm going to talk to you about that at the end. The number 4 is something that we have talked about in some other videos, but if you're new here, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Cuba, guys, is not just Havana. It's not visiting Havana for a couple hours. It's not visiting Havana for maybe 7 days. There are a lot of places that you can visit, and you're gonna be so impressed. It really depends about what are you looking for. If you're really traveling to Cuba and you want to go to the Cayos, which is pretty fine, but at the end, if you want to come to Cuba because you're looking for the Cuban vibe, the local community vibe, if you want to know exactly how the Cuban life is, that might not be the right path for you. So what I highly recommend you to do, guys, is to plan in advance, and that's the next point. Visiting Cuba with anything planned in advance, and that is a huge mistake. Let me explain why. Even for us as locals, sometimes traveling might be frustrating, might be complicated, because you're gonna be finding some ways to do the things that for you, maybe as a visitor, or maybe traveling to other countries, might sound very easy to do, but in Cuba is going to be very complicated. Right now we're facing so many issues with the transportation, with the accommodation, with the food, with things to do, because to the place that we're currently traveling to is having a lot of blackouts. There are no many things to do at this point due to the crisis that we have in Cuba, and I'm trying to find the best things to do, the best place to be, because I want to be comfortable. I want to have my mom as comfortable as possible, and I am ready planning all the things that I'm, willing to do and I want to do actually. And that's something that we're going to be documenting for this channel pretty soon, because the trip is going to be on 29th. The best way that you have to visit Cuba is to have someone here who is going to be able to help. What I mean by this is that you can find a local, you can find a friend if you have visited Cuba before, and you can ask them, how is Cuba doing now? How is this possible? I want to do this and that. Is this possible? Or maybe you can find a tour operator, or maybe you can contact us and we can help you do that. Actually, I'm currently is offering so many good offers when it comes to tours, transfer services, and stuff like that. And actually, I can coach you guys. I can teach you how to visit Cuba and give you a lot of knowledge when it comes to visiting Cuba, so you can avoid being scammed, knowing the places that you can visit, and they're going to be currently open, the prices, all this stuff. And if you want to know more about it, just please send us an email to the first email that you can find in the description of this video, because I don't want to get you scammed. I don't want to get you stressed. I want to see you like struggling all the time in Cuba. The point is to travel to Cuba, find the best of it. If you want to go to Cuba because you want to see the local life, we can help you with that. If you want to go to Cuba because you want to see the best places to visit in Cuba, we can help you with that. It really depends about what you want to do, the budget that you have for it, and we're going to try to do our best. But yes, subscribe to the channel, guys, if you want to get more travel tips, more travel vlogs that we're going to do in the very few weeks. And if you want to get that free guide that is going to be saving you a lot of time, money, and I put a lot of effort by doing that. So watch this playlist right here that I already made to, show you guys what is Cuba doing, the things that you could do, and this stuff.